We are learning a U.S.-led airstrike in Mosul, Iraq, killed more than 100 civilians in March. The strike was actually targeting two snipers who had engaged with Iraqi counterterrorism forces. Now, officials say forces did not know civilians were in the building at the time. The Pentagon defends the precision attack, saying it was the most appropriate way to neutralize the threat. Stewart Webb is the editor for DefenseReport.com. He joins us now from Salt Spring Island, BC. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks for having me, Morel.
I know that the number put out by the U.S. has been over 100 civilians. 101 is the number. But witnesses say that actually fatalities with civilians there was well over 200. What do you make of this discrepancy?
Well, that discrepancy is always around. I mean, the United States could say that the margin of error could be the amount of terrorists or ISIS affiliates within the building. It also could, the United States could also justify that as, well, you can't really piece together a lot of the people and say that, you know, it's 101. That could also be 170 or something to that effect. The original estimate for that was over 200. So we'll see what happens in the coming days.
The original plan here was to bomb that building to take out two snipers. The Americans are saying they didn't know there were civilians in the building. What kind of information, or how do they go about getting good information about who's where in these complex situations like we have in Mosul?
Of course. Now, I mean, the issue with Mosul or any urban environment is that there's, a high density population, and their civilian casualties might actually happen. Now, what happens is that the ground force, in this case, the Iraqi ground forces, radio in saying we need an airstrike. At this building, there's two snipers, probably on the rooftop. That's what we've seen. Now, that information goes to the Targeting Evaluation Authority that justifies, well, are there civilian, could there actually be collateral damage like civilians, or, what's going to happen? And that they relay back questions back to the ground force saying, can you see any civilians? Can you see any danger that would happen for collateral damage or, whoever else? They ready back and they hum and haw, and then they release the package. Now, the United States now claims that they used a 500-pound bomb just to destroy the top two floors. And obviously, there should have been, some indication that there were civilians within the building. That's probably why they took a measured approach. But they did not know that ISIS had laden the building with explosives, and according to the U.S. report, that's the secondary explosion is what brought down the building, and killed the 101 within the building and 4 on the ground.
Did the Americans change the way they look at these situations in the aftermath?
Yes and no. They have. The issue, though, is that airstrikes in Iraq and Syria have increased by 50%, and the issue of civilian casualties is always apparent. A quarter of the casualties in the Iraq theater so far are civilians. And another issue, of course, is that Trump has put the military off the leash. So President Obama was always known as the drone president because he increased drone strikes more than Bush had. But he had always tried to tell the military, we will authorize drone strikes or any other airstrikes in places like Yemen or places that we're not at war with, if there's a measured response and you can actually say that there's no civilian casualties whatsoever. The Trump administration said, you know what, we don't care. Just as long as you think that you can minimize the civilian casualties, we're okay with some. But if the results are great, perfect, go ahead. And I think that you're also seeing that within the theaters that the America is actually at war with.
Well, different approach definitely there. Editor at DefenseReport.com, Stewart Webb, joining us. Thanks, Stewart.
Thank you very much.